Just when you thought the drama was over, boom, it gets even wilder. Diddy is back in the spotlight, but this time it's about more than music. With his recent arrest, Tupac'sFamily is speaking out, raising serious questions about his involvement in controversies tied to Tupac's life and untimely death. Emotions are running high, secrets are surfacing, and hip-hop's most infamous feud may finally unravel. Buckle up, because this investigation is about to take you deep into uncharted territory. The tragic night of Tupac Shakur, a deep dive into the events surrounding his death. On the fateful evening of September 7, 1996, the vibrant city of Las Vegas pulsed with life, a city that never truly sleeps, illuminated by the glow of neon lights and the promise of excitement. Amid this electrifying atmosphere, the world would soon witness an event that would cast a long, dark shadow over the hip-hop community. And beyond, rapper Tupac Shakur, a cultural icon and one of the most influential artists of his generation, was riding in the passenger seat of a sleek black BMW, a vehicle that had become a symbol of his success and lifestyle. The car was driven by Marion Suge Knight, the formidable head of Death Row Records, the powerhouse label that propelled Tupac into superstardom. That night, they were en route to Club 662, a nightclub owned by Knight himself, after attending a high-profile boxing match between Mike Tyson and Bruce Seldon at the MGM Grand Hotel. A night of celebration and tension. Earlier that evening, the atmosphere had been jubilant. The MGM Grand buzzed with excitement as celebrities, sports fans, and influencers gathered to watch Tyson defend his title. Tupac, always the life of the party, had been in high spirits, radiating charisma and charm. He mingled with friends, fans, and even fellow artists, celebrating not just the fight, but his own recent successes. Yet, beneath the surface of this glamorous facade, tensions simmered. The music industry was embroiled in a fierce and public feud between East Coast and West Coast hip-hop artists, a conflict that had escalated over the years into something deeply personal and dangerously volatile. As the black BMW approached a red light just a block from the famed Las Vegas Strip, destiny took a tragic turn. A white Cadillac pulled up beside them. Inside the Cadillac were several members of the Southside Compton Crips, a notorious gang with a long history of violence and a reputation for merciless retaliation. Among them was Orlando "Baby Lane" Anderson, a known rival of Tupac's. Just hours before the shooting, Tupac had engaged in a physical altercation with Anderson at the MGM Grand, a confrontation that would prove to be a significant turning point in this deadly narrative. According to court filings by Las Vegas prosecutors, the tension between Tupac and Anderson reached a boiling point earlier that night. Anderson, recognizing Tupac's presence in the BMW, initially attempted to shoot at him, but quickly realized he didn't have the right angle. In a sudden and chaotic exchange, he handed off the semi-automatic firearm to his accomplice, DeAndre "Big Dre" Smith. What happened next was a sudden eruption of violence. Smith opened fire on the BMW, unleashing a barrage of bullets that would forever change the landscape of hip-hop and claim the life of one of its brightest stars. A cultural icon fights for life. As Tupac lay fighting for his life, the world held its breath. He was not just a musician, he was a cultural icon whose voice resonated deeply with a generation. His lyrics often tackled the pressing issues of systemic racism, poverty, and violence, making him a spokesperson for those who felt voiceless and marginalized. The outpouring of support was palpable. Fans, friends, and fellow artists flocked to the hospital, hoping for a miracle. Their collective prayers filling the air with a sense of desperation and longing. Despite the love and support surrounding him, Tupac's condition remained precarious. For 6 agonizing days, the battle raged within Tupac's body. But ultimately, on September 13, 1996, he succumbed to his injuries. He was only 25 years old. His death sent shockwaves through the music industry and the world at large, marking the loss of one of the most talented and influential figures of his time. The impact of his passing was profound, igniting an outpouring of grief and tributes from fans and fellow artists alike. Many recognized that the world had lost a unique voice that spoke to the struggles and aspirations of marginalized communities. A legacy of loss and mourning. In the immediate aftermath of the tragic shooting, Tupac's fight for life garnered international attention. The severity of his injuries was staggering, and the media frenzy surrounding his hospitalization was intense. News outlets reported on every update, capturing the hopes and fears of fans around the world. Tupac's absence was felt deeply not only by his family and friends, but by a generation that had found solace and empowerment in his music. His lyrics resonated with those who felt marginalized and disenfranchised, serving as a rallying cry for social justice and change. As the days turned into a week, the reality of Tupac's condition became increasingly dire. His fans, friends, and fellow artists rallied together, hoping for a miracle. Vigils were held, and tributes poured in from around the globe, celebrating his life and legacy. Despite the prayers and well-wishes, the outcome remained grim. On September 13, 1996, Tupac Shakur took his last breath, leaving behind a world forever altered by his music and message. Tupac's death marked not only the loss of a talented artist, but also the extinguishing of a bright flame that had illuminated the struggles of countless individuals. The impact of his passing reverberated throughout the music industry, sparking conversations about violence, race, and the culture of hip-hop. In the years that followed, his legacy only grew, as artists and fans alike continued to honor his memory and contributions to the genre. Despite the passage of time, the mystery surrounding his murder endures. The unresolved questions, the lingering tensions, and the complex relationships within the hip-hop community continue to captivate audiences and provoke discussion. Tupac Shakur's legacy lives on, not just in his music, but in the ongoing conversations about violence, identity, and the pursuit of justice. His story serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life, the complexities of fame, and the far-reaching consequences of violence within a community that once celebrated him. The tragic and untimely death of Tupac Shakur, one of the most influential and revolutionary figures in hip-hop history, continues to cast a long shadow over the music industry and its culture. On September 7, 1996, in Las Vegas, Nevada, Tupac's life was cut short in a brutal shooting that has since been shrouded in controversy, speculation, and an unyielding quest for justice that remains unresolved to this day. Background of Tupac's legacy. Tupac Amaru Shakur, known to the world simply as Tupac or Tupac, was not just a rapper. He was a cultural icon who used his platform to voice the struggles of marginalized communities, addressing issues of systemic racism, poverty, and violence through his powerful lyrics. Born on June 16, 1971, in East Harlem, New York, Tupac's early life was marked by adversity, a narrative that resonated deeply with fans who saw their own struggles reflected in his music. With hits like Dear Mama, Changes, and California Love, Tupac became a symbol of resistance, embodying the hopes and dreams of a generation grappling with social injustices. His rise to fame was meteoric, propelled by his association with Death Row Records, a label that was synonymous with the West Coast hip-hop scene. Under the guidance of Suge Knight, the controversial figure who headed the label, Tupac experienced unprecedented success. But this fame came with a hefty price tag. The rivalry between East Coast and West Coast hip-hop artists had reached a fever pitch, and Tupac found himself at the epicenter of this cultural war, with his affiliations and actions placing him in the crosshairs of violence. The fateful night. On the evening of September 7, 1996, Tupac was in Las Vegas to attend a high-profile boxing match between Mike Tyson and Bruce Seldon at the MGM Grand Hotel. The atmosphere was electric, filled with a mix of celebrities, fans, and the glitz and glamour of Sin City. Tupac, always charismatic, was in high spirits, celebrating life and mingling with friends, unaware that the night would take a catastrophic turn. After the fight, as Tupac and Suge Knight were driving in a black BMW towards Club 662, a nightclub owned by Knight, they encountered a dangerous situation that would change everything. As they approached a red light near the Las Vegas Strip, a white Cadillac pulled up alongside them. Inside the Cadillac were members of the Southside Compton Crips, a notorious gang known for their violent reputation. Among them was Orlando "Baby Lane" Anderson, a figure with a tumultuous history tied to Tupac. Just hours earlier, Tupac had been involved in a physical altercation with Anderson at the MGM Grand, an encounter that served as a catalyst for the violence that was about to unfold. The aftermath. In the immediate aftermath, Tupac was rushed to the University Medical Center of Southern Nevada, where he underwent emergency surgery to treat his extensive injuries. He had been shot 4 times, with bullets penetrating his chest and damaging vital organs. The severity of his condition left medical professionals grappling with the reality that he may not survive. His hospitalization turned into a national event, with fans, artists, and loved ones flocking to the hospital, praying for a miracle. For 6 agonizing days, Tupac fought for his life, but on September 13, 1996, he succumbed to his injuries, passing away at just 25 years old. The news of his death reverberated across the globe, sending shockwaves through the music industry and beyond. Fans mourned the loss of a voice that spoke to their struggles, and fellow artists paid tribute to his indelible impact on hip-hop. The search for justice. In the years following Tupac's murder, the investigation quickly went cold, leaving his family, friends, and fans frustrated and searching for answers. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department faced mounting criticism for their inability to secure justice for one of music's most beloved figures. Witness cooperation was sparse, and speculation about who was responsible for the shooting ran rampant. Conspiracy theories abounded, with many believing the murder was connected to the East Coast-West Coast rivalry that had engulfed the hip-hop scene. As time passed, the public's appetite for answers only grew, yet few updates emerged from law enforcement. The lack of progress led to a sense of hopelessness among those who sought closure. For years, the case seemed to be trapped in a web of silence and fear, emblematic of the dangerous culture that surrounded the hip-hop community during the 1990s. A new chapter. Reopening the investigation. In the summer of 2023, a significant turn of events unfolded when the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department announced the reopening of the investigation into Tupac's murder. This announcement was met with a mix of hope and skepticism from the public, reigniting interest in a case that had haunted the music community for nearly 3 decades. Law enforcement officials indicated their commitment to pursuing every avenue to uncover the truth behind Tupac's death, and this pledge resonated deeply with those who continued to seek justice. Dwayne "Key" D. Davis, a key figure in the investigation and the uncle of Orlando Anderson, emerged as a focal point in the ongoing saga. Davis, now 61 years old, was arrested on September 29, 2023, and charged with the murder of Tupac Shakur. Prosecutors alleged that Davis orchestrated the shooting as an act of revenge connected to the escalating gang feud involving his nephew. The arrest marked a significant development in a case long mired in ambiguity and speculation, breathing new life into the pursuit of justice for Tupac. The allegations against Davis. As the investigation unfolded, prosecutors presented a narrative that linked the shooting to a vendetta rooted in gang rivalries. Davis's own admissions, made in various interviews, and his memoir, Compton Street Legend, painted a complex picture of his involvement. He claimed to have played a role in planning and executing the killing, which added a layer of complexity to an already intricate narrative involving violence, fame, and the hip-hop culture of the 1990s. However, despite his confessions, Davis pleaded not guilty. His attorney, Carl Arnold, emphasized that a defendant cannot be convicted solely based on their confession. The state must provide corroborating evidence to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. This fundamental aspect of the justice system became a critical pillar of Davis's defense strategy. Arnold's insights reflect a keen understanding of the intricacies involved in high-profile criminal cases, particularly those steeped in public scrutiny and media frenzy. The dynamics of gang rivalries. As the case continues to unfold, the broader implications of Tupac's murder become increasingly apparent. The rivalry between Death Row Records and Bad Boy Records, with Sean "Diddy" Combs at the helm of the latter, was not merely a matter of business competition. It was deeply intertwined with gang culture. The involvement of gang members added an unpredictable element to the interactions between artists, resulting in a volatile mix of egos, territorial disputes, and cultural pride that ultimately culminated in violence. The stakes were further raised by the high-profile nature of the individuals involved. Sean Combs, who emerged as a major figure in the East Coast hip-hop scene, has consistently denied any involvement in Tupac's murder. Despite this, allegations regarding his potential connection to the events surrounding Tupac's death have circulated over the years, adding a sensational layer to an already complex narrative. Implications for the hip-hop community. Tupac's murder serves as a grim reminder of the dangers faced by artists navigating the treacherous waters of fame and rivalry. His death not only robbed the world of a singular talent, but also sparked a critical dialogue about the impact of violence within the hip-hop community. The fallout from his murder extended beyond the immediate loss, influencing how artists and the industry as a whole approached issues of safety, rivalry, and the culture of violence that had permeated the scene. In the years following Tupac's death, artists have grappled with the legacy he left behind. His influence can still be felt today, as contemporary musicians draw inspiration from his boldness and his commitment to social justice. Yet, the unresolved nature of his murder continues to haunt those who were close to him and those who admired him from afar. The ongoing pursuit of justice. As the legal proceedings against Dwayne "Key D" Davis unfold, the anticipation surrounding the trial grows. Set to begin in November 2023, the trial promises to be a significant event not only for those who followed Tupac's career, but also for the broader public interested in the complexities of criminal justice and gang-related violence. The outcome will undoubtedly have lasting implications for the families involved, the hip-hop community, and the ongoing conversation about violence and justice in America. In this context, the reopening of the investigation into Tupac's murder represents a glimmer of hope for many who have long sought answers. The narrative surrounding his death continues to evolve, and with it, the potential for closure for those affected by the loss of a cultural icon. The quest for justice for Tupac Shakur is far from over. as the legacy, the tangled web of relationships, rivalries, and the violent undercurrents of the 1990s hip-hop scene paint a vivid picture of an era marked by ambition, artistry, and an alarming frequency of conflict. Among the figures at the center of this storm was Sean "Diddy" Combs, a powerful executive behind Bad Boy Records, and Tupac Shakur, an artist whose magnetic talent and fierce persona made him a cultural icon. Their tragic entanglement, culminating in Tupac's untimely death, is steeped in layers of animosity, fear, and the brutal realities of the music industry. The rivalry between Suge Knight and Sean Combs. The rivalry between Suge Knight and Sean "Diddy" Combs reached a fever pitch during the 1995 Source Awards, a pivotal moment in hip-hop history. At this event, Knight took the stage to make a thinly veiled jab at Combs, stating, "Any artist out there that wants to be an artist and stay a star, and don't have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record dancing, come to death row." This proclamation was a direct critique of Combs's flamboyant style, highlighting the way he inserted himself into the artistic presentations of the artists under Bad Boy Records. Knight's words not only mocked Combs, but also served to reinforce the intimidation factor he wielded in the hip-hop community. Davis, in his recorded statement to police, elaborated on the tension between the two moguls, noting, "It was real, embarrassing the way he did it." This public confrontation showcased the deep-seated animosity that characterized the relationship between these two powerful figures, revealing a dynamic of fear that permeated the industry. Davis recounted how Diddy was genuinely fearful of Knight, even expressing reluctance to travel to California, where Knight's influence was particularly strong. The personal conflict between Combs and Tupac Shakur. The rivalry took on a deeply personal dimension as tensions escalated between Combs and Tupac. Detective Long, during his 2009 interview with Davis, broached the topic of potential conflicts between Combs and Shakur. Davis did not hesitate to reveal that Tupac had disparaged Combs, using derogatory terms to express his contempt. Davis recalled Tupac's disdainful words, saying, "Yeah, you that dude," which showcased the level of animosity that had developed between the two figures. This animosity can be traced back to a significant incident in 1994, when Tupac was shot 5 times in the lobby of Quad Studios in Times Square. Following this violent encounter, Shakur alleged that Diddy and the Bad Boy crew had set him up, a claim that Combs has consistently denied. The fallout from the shooting marked a turning point in the relationship between Tupac and Combs, transforming what had been a competitive dynamic into one fraught with suspicion and hostility. In the aftermath of Tupac's shooting, the rivalry escalated even further. Combs released the single "Who Shot Ya" by the notorious B.I.G., a track that many perceived as a thinly veiled response to Tupac's allegations. This release added fuel to an already raging fire, with interpretations of the lyrics suggesting a direct attack on Shakur. In retaliation, Tupac unleashed the infamous "Hit 'Em Up," a scathing diss track that targeted both Biggie Smalls and Diddy himself. This song pushed their rivalry to the brink, further entrenching the conflict in the public consciousness and solidifying the narrative of a feud that transcended music, delving into personal betrayals and deep-rooted animosities. The aftermath of Tupac's death. The fallout from Tupac's murder on September 13, 1996, was catastrophic for the hip-hop community. Following Tupac's assassination, a grand jury exhibit referenced a pivotal conversation that took place between Combs and Davis shortly after Shakur's death. Allegedly, Combs reached out to Davis, inquiring, "Is that us?" This query reflects Combs's desire to ascertain whether the South Side Crips, the gang with which Davis was affiliated, were responsible for Shakur's death. The court filings captured a moment of twisted pride in Davis's response as he reportedly replied, "Yes," signaling not only a sense of accomplishment, but also the deepening ties between gang violence and the music industry's shadowy dealings. Davis's assertions reveal a chilling reality. The murder of Tupac was not merely a tragedy, but an opportunity for financial gain. In his 2009 police interview, Davis articulated a sense of anticipation, stating, "I knew we were like, damn, we can get paid now." This acknowledgement hints at a grim acceptance within certain circles that violence could lead to monetary rewards, reflecting the ruthless environment that often characterized the hip-hop scene. Several months after Shakur's death, Davis recounted a meeting with Eric "Zip" Martin at a Hot Wings restaurant in Los Angeles. While Davis claimed to have had considerable financial resources at that time, he expressed a desire for his nephew Orlando Anderson and his crew to be compensated for their involvement in the incident. This interaction underscores the ongoing financial motivations that persisted even in the wake of violence. Davis conveyed that Martin had promised to check with Combs about sending money to them, yet this promise was never fulfilled, illuminating the transactional nature of the relationships that had formed amid chaos. The ongoing legacy of Tupac's death. The connections between Diddy and Tupac's death are complex and multifaceted, encompassing not only personal animosities, but also broader issues of power, violence, and the music industry's perilous landscape. As the narrative continues to unfold, the repercussions of these relationships resonate within the hip-hop community, serving as a cautionary tale about the dangers of ambition and rivalry. In light of the ongoing legal developments surrounding the murder case, many within the hip-hop community and beyond continue to grapple with the implications of Tupac's tragic demise. The question of Diddy's involvement looms large, shrouded in speculation and uncertainty. As new information surfaces, the desire for justice remains palpable, not only for Tupac's family and friends, but also for the countless fans who revered him as a voice of their generation. As we reflect on this turbulent chapter in music history, it becomes increasingly clear that the legacies of Tupac Shakur and Sean "Diddy" Combs are inextricably linked, woven into the fabric of an era defined by brilliance and brutality. The ongoing discourse surrounding their relationship underscores the complexities of fame, loyalty, and the harsh realities of an industry that often mirrors the violent narratives found in the art it produces. What do you think about Diddy's connection to Tupac's death? Leave your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this exploration insightful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next videos. Goodbye.